Hey everybody, it's James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and today I'm going to show you how to play Somebody That I Used to Know by Gotye, and I'm going to show it to you in a few different layers, starting with something really easy like this.
You can get addicted to a certain kind of sadness.
And just like a really easy finger picking thing, all the way step by step, we're going to add one little thing till we get something more like this.
You didn't have to cut me off, make out like it never happened and we were nothing. I don't even need your love. You treat me like a stranger and that feels so rough.
So yeah, we're going to start off with a really easy finger picking thing that's just like your thumb and your fingers. And then we're going to slowly get to the point where we can add some percussion and a bit more of a bass line and make it sound a lot like the original recording. We're not going to need any pick for today's lesson, so we can get rid of that. We're going to be using our fingers. You might need this. You're welcome to strum these chords. Before we get started, really quick, if you need any extra help during this lesson, I have a free ebook. It's free for all my subscribers. I'll put a link to that in the corner and down below, and you can check that out. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy learning guitar with me. This song, it's just a 3-chord song, and for one part, it just goes back and forth between 2 chord shapes. One of the chord shapes, however, normally would be a bar chord. It would be a B minor bar chord, but we can play a simpler version where we go like this. So I have my index finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. I'm going to skip a string. Then I have my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G string and my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. And my thumb is going to pick the A string, my index is going to pick the G string, and my middle finger is just above it on the B string. So just get used to that, just kind of like pinching that note, or those notes, I mean. And we're going to go thumb, fingers. Then we're going to leave our middle finger down. We're going to put our index finger up to the D string, and we're going to suck in our ring finger. We're making the A chord now. We're picking the same strings, and we go thumb, fingers. And that is it.
You can be addicted to a certain kind of sadness.
And that's step 1, is just getting used to that. So we have we'll call this a B minor 7 chord. Thumb, fingers, and my ring finger is anchoring. It's lightly touching the high E string just so that my hand doesn't move around too much and I can feel where the strings are. Then the A chord. Boom, chuck, boom, chuck. And we can shorten those notes with our fingers. From our B minor 7 chord, we'll play thumb, then we pick with our fingers, and then we touch the strings right away. And this creates a separation, We have our bass line that's ringing out the whole time. Boom, boom, boom. And then we have these little shots of chord up top, And it adds a layer to what you're doing, right? Step 2 is going to be to add the G chord so that we can play the chorus. So what we just did, that's the entire verse. You could play 90% of the song. Now for the chorus, we go, and then we have to go to the G chord. So for that, I'm just going to put my middle finger on the 3rd fret of the thickest string. My thumb is going to pluck the thickest string now. My fingers stay where they are. And it's the same thing if I play it correctly. Yeah, there we go. That's one of the benefits of fingerstyle. You don't have to cover up all those other strings because you're not strumming them. Like if I strum this, it sounds weird, but... And we just go for the chorus, B minor, A, G, A.
Have to do 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 do.
And you can just do that, and that's the whole song. You can already play the whole song, in a pretty cool way that's not just strumming. We have a couple more steps left, though. So step 3 is we're going to change from, instead of doing that, we're going to go. So there, I'm using my finger to do a bit of a strum. So we're still getting that shot, but it has a bit more oomph behind it. That when your nail hits the guitar, it makes more of a percussive sound. So we have our B minor 7 shape, and we want to be really careful to play it in a certain way. Like I'm actually going to bring my hand down a little bit so that way it mutes the thinnest string. That way, as I strum with my index, it's not going to get all these extra strings and make it sound like a, I don't know, 90s song, like something the Foo Fighters would play. So it's pretty much the same thing, except now we're doing that little finger strum. And let me just show you a little bit more about how to get the right sound. I pluck with my thumb, and then I go, and I'm just like opening my finger, and I'm just aiming for the two strings that I need to aim for. You know, I'm just kind of opening my finger into them. I'm not like making a big strumming motion. I'm not doing too much, just, and then after that, my fingers come down onto the strings to stop them, just like before. So I want you to just try that over and over again. You could even do it with open strings. That way you'll really know that you're getting it, and that way you don't have to hold down a chord shape and get those crazy lines in your fingers the whole time. Do it with G chord. And when you do it slowly, you're gonna hear all this stuff ring out, but once you speed it up, there's less time for all that stuff to, you know, all those weird noises to happen, right? But that's one of the benefits of practicing slow. If you get it perfectly slowly, it's gonna sound so good when you speed it up. That's step 3. Now, our 4th level, or whatever you wanna call it, is to add a bit of a bass line to go. And I'm just kind of plucking each note one extra time with my thumb. Instead of going, I'm going boom, boo-doo, boo-doo. So pluck, pluck, switch, pluck, switch. You know, I'm just hitting the bass line right before I go to the next chord shape. And in terms of the timing, that's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So I pluck it on 1 like we've been doing this whole time, and then I pluck it again on the and after 2. So I recommend just focusing on that bass line, going 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And once you're used to that, you can add that finger thing back, and that's step 4. So all together, when we're adding that there, thumb, then I hit it, and then I do the thumb again. You know, thumb, finger, thumb, and then we switch chords. Thumb, finger, thumb, thumb, finger, thumb. And I would just do it on one chord till you're used to it. You can see above, I have it written out, and it's all kind of timed out. The timing is, that's what makes it sound like the song. You know, if you play this like, it's a totally different song with even though I'm doing the same motions, right? The timing is everything. That's level 4. Now, level 5, we're gonna, instead of playing B minor 7, we're gonna play the B minor bar chord. Instead of doing our A chord like this, we're gonna play it like this, which I've probably been doing this entire time without thinking about it. And then for the G chord, I'm gonna lightly touch the thinnest string with my ring finger when I do it. That way, that string's guaranteed not to ring out. So we're adding muting and using different chord shapes with our other hand finally. And that is going to just allow us to go crazy with our rhythm hand, and none of the excess strings are going to ring out. So if I have the B minor bar chord, by the way, I have, of course, bar chords made easy if you are having trouble with these, but and a whole bunch of stuff. I'll put a link in the corner to help you out with bar chords. It's not what this lesson's about. But you know, as far as the B minor bar chord is concerned, we basically play an A minor shape with these 3 fingers. Then we go 1, 2 times, and then we bar the 2nd fret. That's where that shape comes from. The A chord, instead of playing it like that, I'm just gonna bar, and then the top string is muted by the flesh under my index finger. And for the G chord, I just put down my ring finger, or my middle finger on the thickest string, and then my ring finger lightly touches the thinnest. And that prevents any unwanted stuff. And then we can go. And see how short and punchy I can make those little shots? And it really creates a separation because you have that flowing bass line with those really short punchy shots, and you have that percussion. I can really give her, like when I do that, I'm actually using the side of my thumb a bit too. So So I'm like rotating in, my fingers get the strings, and my thumb smacks the thicker strings. And that is level 5 of our somebody that I used to know fingerpicking adventure. So, you know, I taught it in this way for a reason. I want you to do level 1 first, get really comfortable with it. That way you get the shapes, you get the timing, you get all that stuff down, the basic technique. Then you build on it, level 2, 3, 4, 5, adding just one little thing at a time. You know, this isn't like 5 ways to play it. It's more like how I would get to the final product. I would start with level 1, you know, and build on it really simply. That's the way I would teach it to a student, and that's the way I'm teaching it to you. As far as, you know, help with this kind of stuff, if you need any extra help, like I said, I have that free ebook. I also have a course, Fingerstyle Beginner to Advanced. I'll put a link to that down below. We do go over this style in like chapter 3 of the course. You know, and you can always ask me questions in the comments down below. Me or my wife will check them. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy learning guitar with me. Otherwise, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.